Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank Professor Tang. We usually call him OK, Wei Kiang, for his invitation. Initially, when I received the invitation, I thought it was a medical conference, so I easily accepted it. Because I can talk on colorectal cancer for hours, I can talk on stomach ulcer for hours, but then I realized that it is actually an audience of education experts, so I have to start doing my homework. But I'm really interested in this topic because Bill Gates recently said that he thinks that most jobs will be gone, including doctors and teachers. So that really pissed me off because I'm a doctor and I teach medicine, so both of my jobs will be gone. So I have to really study a little bit about what is my future. So can I have my slide? I actually changed the topic a little bit. Can I have my first slide? To what does AI means for modern education? And I would use some examples of medical teaching in my talk. This is actually the picture of our medical school. The headquarter building at Novena is a 100-year-old building. And many of you have probably noticed that we have this sculpture, not anymore, that showed, in fact, for everything, there are many faces. Okay, if you look at this sculpture from different angle, you will see a different face. So let us look at our future phase of education. I don't think this is working for me. Huh? Is there anything else I can press? Oh. Okay.
Down is forward.
Oh, down is forward. Okay. Right. It's medics, right? So, in fact, AI has permeated everything in our life, thanks to NVIDIA. Everything is changing very rapidly, and it brings more questions than answers. We will ask, a few weeks ago, I teach a group of medical students on a topic, a medical topic, about patients with liver disease and bleeding, and I asked them question, what if this patient developed fever, and what do you think about the possibilities? And then everybody check GPT and give me their answers. They're all correct answers, all right, but I feel that they are looking at an elephant on a different angle. Some feel the trunk, some feel the legs, and so on. And I was wondering whether they actually know the core knowledge of that topic. So then I start to ask myself, what do we need to teach and what we do not need to teach anymore? In fact, I believe that a lot of huge medical textbooks can be thrown away or can be donated to the library because we don't need to teach all those very detailed stuff. Anatomy, all right, every muscle, every nerve or blood vessel, which one sit on the left, which one on the right, and which one in the front. Why do we need to know that? Because AI can tell us everything, all right? The image, 3D image, already give us a very good anatomy of human body. Drugs, why do we need to bother about the dosages and different types of drugs? It's all at the fingertip when you want to prescribe. So a lot of things that we used to teach, we don't need to teach anymore. But what is the basic core stuff? Like the example I gave you, when students give me different answers for the same question, I wonder whether they know why these all different answers are all correct or all incorrect. What is the basic knowledge that they will still need to acquire? But most importantly, I think we still need to teach them what is right and what is wrong. And is right or wrong merely derived by algorithm and statistics and data? Is there anything that beyond data and beyond algorithm, something that about human being that we still need to teach them? So I think most of us will agree that everything will be revolutionized. We are actually going into a new revolution, which is even more drastic than industrial revolution that we have gone through, or the internet revolution. Because we are going to go into an era of personalized education or personalized learning. I can tell you in medicine, we have been talking about personalized medicine or precision medicine for a long time, okay? And now we are almost there. We are almost able to do it because we simply sequence the whole genome of human being, all right, the tens of thousands of genes. And then we can predict what's going to happen, why this antihypertensive drug works for you and doesn't work for him because you have a different genomic background. But in education, we may also be able to individualize education at scale. We may be able to adapt learning, suit to that particular student, whether he is very good with math, no good in literature, whether he can draw things better than, reading. Individualized learning may be possible, and try to help students who have difficulty in certain aspects of their life. So this is really the dream of most educators. On the other hand, we are facing a new challenge, and that is when we give away most of our teaching to machine learning, large language model, AI, and so on, where is human values? Do they also carry the values, the ethics, our culture, and everything that we still think is important in education? If we rely a lot on, or entirely on AI, what is it going to happen to our future generation? Are we going to moral outsourcing everything to machines? Are we going to just leave them to do everything and forget about the human part of education, which I think is very important? And because of that, I think Bill Gates is wrong. I think teachers are not going to be replaced, nor doctors, obviously, but they are going to change their role. In fact, a more important role, that there are something which cannot be done by machine, we should take it up in a bigger way. So AI can embody values, educators' moral and ethical roles, even become more crucial and important in our education. Of course, we have to teach them what is AI. We have to provide literacy of AI, what is understanding bias, fairness, privacy, and so on. But we also need to emphasize more now on integrity, empathy, humility, stewardships, and so on and so forth. So I think what we are talking about is not just how we teach, but what is the changing role of future teachers, doctors, accountants, lawyers. Actually, lawyers might have some trouble for the future, but accountants also. But I don't know, we all have to adapt it to the future. And some of the jobs may not even exist at this time, but we have to prepare our students to jobs for the future. So, and that leads me to this movie. How many of you have seen this movie? 2000, oh, you're old guys. Because this movie was made in 1969, all right, more than 50 years ago. It's called 2001: A Space Odyssey. It was, actually I was very young at that time, and I don't understand the movie at all. I thought it was very boring. I like Star Wars and Star Trek much better. Okay, but this movie, directed by, and the book was also written by Stanley Kubrick, and he braved into the future talking about evolution of intelligence. The movie, if you still remember, starts from the very beginning of life, and there was a group of apes, all right, they were fighting against each other. And then suddenly, in front of this population of apes, there is a big stone, a monolith, that exists in front of their eyes, and they don't know what it is. And once the ape touched the stone, they change. They start to go into a next level of intelligence, and they start to know how to use weapons, and they start killing each other. And that is human history evolving for tens of thousands of years. So I don't know what is going on, and I don't know what is the meaning of that black stone. However, the story goes forward to say many, many years later, human beings start to go to the moon and even venture to Jupiter. And that was the first time that in the history of man, we talk about artificial intelligence, because there was a supercomputer called HAL, H-A-L, which I now realize HAL is in fact one letter behind IBM, right? In front of IBM. So H is in front of I, and A is in front of B, and L is M, all right? So this is, must be IBM paying for this, all right? So there was this new intelligence come about, and the most shocking words in this movie is when the astronaut called Dave asked the computer to do something. In fact, he was sent out of the spaceship, and when he wants to come back, the door doesn't open. He said, "Hal, open the door." And then the computer, Hal said, "I'm sorry, Dave, I'm afraid I can't do it," because he wants to kill the astronauts, because he thinks that this human being is in the way of his venture. And he has his own mind, his consciousness, and he wants to get rid of the human astronauts. It's a very scary movie. And then, this is really the masterpiece that predicts the rise of AI. So this is the stone, all right? This is at the beginning of the movie, the big monolith. And every time when this monolith appears, the AI, representing AI, there is a big change in human history. From the apes to human, to Homo sapien, from the old age, Stone Age human being to modern age human beings. Hal cannot make mistake because everything is logical, but judgment is the basic problem. He can make a decision and judge something that we do not agree, for example, killing Dave. And the conflict is that when human values and machine values start to diverge or conflicting against each other, according to this science fiction movie, then we will have some problems. And that's why I think while we are celebrating the advance of technology, AI, and braving into a new era of human history, we have to think about what is the meaning of being human being. And that, I think, is the core question we need to ask in AI for education. Because what we teach our future generation mold the future human beings. And do we need to think about what is the awakening moment from instinct to insight? Let's come back to medicine a little bit. Medicine and education, AI can contribute a lot, totally revolutionize our future practice. But they can reason, but can they care the patient, or can we nurture our student equally well if we just rely on machine? Now listen, I'm not saying that we should not use technology, but I'm trying to say we need to rethink about our future role. How do we redefine our role as teacher and as medical doctors. We may be able to provoke transformation, but not just to transfer information. We need to show the path and instigate human curiosity, and that perhaps is our future role. Then the next thing that I have studied is this painting, a very famous painting called The Death of Socrates, done by a French painter, Jacques-Louis David, in the 17th century. So he painted this picture with Socrates sitting in the middle of the picture. Socrates was sentenced to death because he taught something that at that time the Greek government think that he is producing moral integrity and principles. He is trying to say something that the government does not agree. And what Socrates actually tried to say, he didn't actually write any books or paper. What he say is his thinking. He said the unexamined life is not a worth living life. And the only true wisdom of mankind is knowing you know nothing. Now, so basically what he said at that time, that was the era when the Athenian or the Greek Empire rise very strongly and trying to conquer the world around the time of Alexander the Great, actually a little bit before that. And everybody was very aggressive and doing all the things to try to expand their territory. And Socrates himself was actually a soldier. After winning several major wars, he suddenly starts to talk to the young people in Greece, saying that, is this morally sound? Is this really what we want to do? Is expansion everything in your life? So he starts to ask people to think about what is morality. And because of that, he was given the poison, which shown in this picture, to die. And in this picture, at the end of his bed, he is pointing to the sky because he is trying to talk about ethnics and also morality. But his students are very sad. They are all very emotional and trying to convince him to change his mind and so that he can escape the death penalty. Plato, sitting at the end of the bed, feel very sad, but he did not stop him from doing it because he feels that he is doing the right thing. Now, what is this picture telling me? It tells me that educators are more than teaching information and knowledge. Educators, our major goal is really to point to the fact that we human beings need to continuously reflect upon our life. What is good, what is not good, and what is wrong. And we need to critically look at the things that is happening in the world. So Socrates taught through dialogue and questioning, not data, not information delivery, embodying the kind of moral and intellectual engagement that maybe even today it's relevant to us, but AI cannot provide all the answers. In the age of machine tutors, what you and I, as human educator, must remain to be the moral compass. And we need to teach people not only what to think, but how to live. I think that is a deeper level, and this is something that maybe we need to pay more attention to. So back to the real life from movies and from ancient Greek philosophy. Educators' role, I think, should be less about memorization, calculations, and mechanical tasks, because AI can do much better and faster, and they don't get tired. They don't talk about quality of life. And but we will need to, they don't talk about work-life balance that all our students are telling us. And we need to teach more about understanding, interpretation, critical thinking, and most importantly, framing the right question. Oh, the slide is going to mess up a little bit. But I think we cannot avoid, and we should, teach AI literacy, but don't forget humanities. Don't forget about critical thinking, creativity, communication, ethics, and judgment. These are something, perhaps, even at this time, AI may not be able to do it. Simon may prove that I'm wrong, but it will be for the future. I think it is very, very important, therefore, as educators, whether you teach social science or you teach engineering or medicine, you must bear in mind that our job is to form characters of our students for their resilience, create curiosity, disciplines, empathy, and so on and so forth, and to prepare them for jobs that do not exist at this moment. We don't know what these jobs are, okay? It may not be a coder anymore. It may not be medical doctor anymore, but it will be something that in the future what we need. So let us spend the next few days to talk about how we personalize AI-enhanced education, but please also discuss what will be our future role. If you don't want to lose your job, please think about what is our future. All right, how do we then mentor, motivate, and help our students to connect to each other, not just connect to the monolith, and also inspire curiosity. We have to think about what does it mean to be a person, especially in this day and age. What is the meaning of education? What can we do that AI cannot? And that will be our future jobs as a teacher. It is crucial that we ask the right question and instill our students to do so. Because if we don't do that, one day maybe AI will do it for us. We must prepare ourselves and our students to face this rapidly changing world. Now, let me move to a little bit about medicine. So I have been quite puzzled with what doctors should do in the future. Right now, when we see a patient, we are not just utilizing our knowledge and data. We also build a doctor-patient relationship. And that, in fact, is quite important. I'll tell you why. But what is doctor-patient relationship? Is talking about interaction of the patient with their medical practitioners through dialogues, through sometimes even touching their hands, touching their body, and build a mutual trust. In this process, we are building empathy of physicians that gains the trust of our patients. So doctors should understand patients' experience, not just understand the CT scan or the blood test or the genomic data, but understand their feeling, concern, and outlook. And the patient will therefore trust the doctor, will do everything for their good. They are not going to abandon, they are not going to eliminate this human being because data show that he is not likely to recover. All right, so that is the difference between empathy and just mechanistic practice. So a good doctor-patient relationship must contain ethically sound practice. You must use your human value to talk to your patient and to practice what you're doing. And you must communicate with the patient properly. Therefore, in modern education, in medicine, communication skill is a very important part. All right? Okay, if I'm looking at a patient who got a terminal illness, I know that he got stage 4 lung cancer, and by statistic, his 5-year survival rate is 0. His 2-year survival rate perhaps is 15%. All right, and he's not going to respond to this and that and that. So how do I present this to the patient? Make a big difference. Okay, if I just present to him that this is the figure, so go home, enjoy yourself because you have about 3 months to live. Or I would say, well, this is going to be a difficult condition, but we'll do it, we'll fight it together. I'll be walking with you along the way. We'll try everything, and I will understand that at certain stage, you may tell me that you don't want to carry on with the suffering, and so on and so forth. A lot of different ways of talking to your patient will make a whole world of difference, because a good doctor-patient relationship will improve care. Okay? So whether or not patient responds to our treatment is not solely rely on the medicine that you prescribe, but whether or not patient trusts you and comply to your prescription, whether or not he follow your advice, and when there is error coming out, which is almost inevitable, when they want to complain, they will think about how this doctor treated me and how am I being regarded as a human being. I have treated many terminal illness patients, and some of them refer to me really at the very end stage of his life. Okay? So I have learned that, in fact, what they are looking for is not just a possible cure. They know that it is not going to happen. But they are looking for somebody who will respect them and preserve the dignity of a human being and walk the last miles of their journey in life. And by the time when they actually come to the final stage, they actually show appreciation, despite the fact that I have not been able to cure his terminal disease. So that teaches me something about doctor-patient relationship. All the things that we do today, I would say, it can be replaced by AI. So Bill Gates is right in that sense. If you just rely on telemedicine, chatbot can do it. If you rely on, you just focus on diagnosis, AI algorithm can do it. Predicting outcome, machine can do much better than we are. So, do we still need doctors and nurses? And some people say, well, AI should be able to improve on our doctor-patient relationship because a lot of mundane thing has been done by the machine so that we can spend more time to talk to patient. Yes and no. What happened in real life is when things goes faster, patients can see more, doctor can see more patients, so they can earn more money, or they go home earlier. All right? They may not actually spend more time to talk to the patient and understand what they need. So it is the human part of medicine that we need to think about. So this is an old slide that I got it from the internet some years ago. It says AI is coming and redefining the role of doctors. The rise of AI is like maggot therapy. Do you know what maggot therapy is? In the old days, there is one way of curing or treating somebody who has a rotten piece of muscle or skin, and that is to put these little worms which eat dead tissues, and it will clean up your wound and all the debris and leave you a clean wound. That is called maggot therapy. And it says AI will be like that because it should take away the non-human side of medicine and leaving you with the human part of it. The future will hold a role for physicians somewhere among technologies that diagnose and target therapy, but at the same time, it should help shaping individual human information as knowledge and wisdom. So we need to find our new role as doctors and practitioners. Similarly, AI is coming to education and redefine the role of the future role of teachers. We are not just feeding information anymore. We are not just teaching them what is in the book and lectures, but to leave humanities in the education, because we need to guide future development of human beings. Otherwise, our future generation will only be seeking mechanical support, knowledge from the machine, and we lost the human part. So AI and modern medicine, it's a very interesting topic, and I would really love to learn from this conference in the next 3 days, because we know that the content will shift from understanding to judging, from knowledge to wisdom. We need to teach them AI literacy and how to work with AI. We need to elevate creativity, empathy, and values. We need to prepare students for an unpredictable future. I actually always told my 2 daughters, I say, I'm going to retire soon, but I'm worrying about you, your career. You just started your career. And I'm even more worried about my grandchildren's career. Do they even have a job at all? So, but we have to prepare them for the unpredictable future and try to personalize learning to make it not just more efficient, but more human. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Song. We have now questions coming in, and I would like to encourage you to continue to pose your questions. If you're wondering how you would do that, the QR codes are on your lanyard. And also, you are encouraged to, I think there are mics on the floor that you can use to ask your questions in person if you wish, okay? So, now that was really very interesting. I like the message, Prof. Song. I love your message. And I was, yeah, you might have to return for the Q&A for the next 5 to 10 minutes. Thank you.
I thought I'm done. Okay.
It's, yeah. You'll be done in about 10 minutes, I think, then we'll take a break. All right, thank you. What I thought was interesting was, you said many things that were interesting, but one thing that struck me was, you know, technology is doing all these things, right, and enabling us to do work more quickly. And that if it enables doctors to see more patients, it doesn't mean that we're going to spend more time with patients, right? And same thing with educators, right? And it enables us to give feedback more quickly and all that, but it doesn't mean that we're going to care more. How do we encourage one another to do that?
Yeah, so I think a lot of things cannot be taught in lectures, tutorials. I think when I teach my students how to become a good doctor with empathy and so on, I think the best way to do it is to exemplify it, is to demonstrate how you talk to your patients, how you care a terminal illness patient, and share with them your personal philosophy. Professor Sun just said I'm a philosopher instead of a teacher. But I think everything is philosophy, and you would really like to share with them. And students will love to hear this, because this is not something that they can get from the lectures and tutorials or even reading some books. They need to see how you behave and how you, willing to share your views and your life with your students. And they will learn from that how to become a better human beings. So it is beyond words and, any type of acts that you can do. You have to really talk to them and exemplify it. That's my short answer. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's a very tough problem. Now, if is anyone here who would like to ask questions in person, please feel free to raise your hands, and we'll come to you with a mic, I believe.
If it's about colon cancer, I probably can answer you better.
Actually, perhaps I can just read off some questions that have been submitted here. Let's see. Okay, so there is concern now about employability with AI, right? As you have mentioned as well. What is the purpose of higher education? And is it just for optimizing students for jobs? Thank you.
Well, obviously the answer is not, but job is important, isn't it? If you don't have jobs, especially in this day and age, with so many university graduates carrying a degree or degrees, all right, it's going to be a trouble. How do we move the things forward? So if you read the book by this Hebrew historian, forgot his name. His book is called Homo Sapien and Homo Deus. All right, he talks about, again, projecting to the future when AI can do a lot of things for human being. He projects that a lot of us will lose our job. And according to him, there are 3 ways of handling this problem and to keep our society stable. And number 1 is you create equal number, if not more, new jobs that can employ these people. All right, just like in Industrial Revolution, you don't need farmers to do farming manually, and you use machine. But then you have to produce more farms and increase the productivity. But actually, I'm doubtful whether this can be done because there are so many jobs that's going to be slashed, and I'm not sure. But I may be wrong. You know, I'm not a futuristic person. We may actually open up something that we have not even imagined. So this is the first part. The second possibility is that everybody will get a salary, irrespective of whether you have a job. All right, that sounds good because then everybody has some money and you can feed yourself and you can have a comfortable home, irrespective of whether you are working in a job. And in fact, if I remember correctly, some years ago, a small country in Europe called Switzerland has tried to even implement this, and there was a referendum in the country asking people whether you think we should give everybody a universal wages without considering whether you have a job or not. So eventually, it was a negative, and it has not yet been implemented. But that might be our future because productivity is no longer relying on manpower alone. The third thing that he suggests, which I think is probably more realistic, is that something that we don't pay people, we shall in the future pay them to do it. For example, looking after your own parents at home. For example, have babies and educate your children and take care of them. You will be paid for that because you want to do something that not many people want to do, and it is important to continue mankind in this world. So you got paid even when you just feed your baby or look after your aging parents. That might be another possibility, but really, I think I hope that there will be jobs that's going to be created, and we are doing something to prepare them for this unforeseeable future. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to run through more questions here. There's actually quite a number of questions.
Oh.
Now, I think you mentioned...
There's one in the audience. Maybe we should let our...
I'm sorry, I missed. Yes.
Thank you very much for this interesting talk. I found the maggot therapy example quite a thought-provoking idea. I'm not an expert in this area at all. Of course, you would know this kind of therapies much better than I do. But as far as I know, the maggot therapy is used because maggots are specifically feeding on dead tissue, and they would not really touch the healthy tissues. So they are very useful. The problem with the analogy, I think, is that AI technologies are here
Eating everything.
Exactly. So my question to you is that how do we decide which parts of a profession are indeed worth to be replaced with the help of AI and which parts should be left?
No, I think what it means is that let AI do all the things that do not necessarily require human. Okay? So, for example, making a diagnosis does not require human. Prescribing medicine does not require human. But there are certain parts which require human sensitivity and our empathy, and that is not going to be eaten up by maggot. So I'm not saying that AI's usage is very restricted. They are extensive, too extensive, in fact. All right? But there are still very important part of, in medicine, there are very important part of humanity practice that I hope AI will not be able to put their fingers on, right? So I think the same actually happened in education. We are no longer feeding information and knowledge. That part can be done. And we may not even need to feed them because it's all at the fingertips. But how to nurture a good human being, how to build characters, how to make them think critically and creatively. So those things, I think, needs human being to do it. So that's what I mean by the maggot therapy. Yeah. By the way, maggot therapy is still practiced.
Yeah. Well. And that's all the time we have for now. Thank you very much, Prof. Song.
Thank you.